Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating paradox. We're going to look at the economic and psychological reasons why the old, traditional contract, building deep, narrow expertise for lifelong career security, is being completely rewritten by artificial intelligence. For generations, the formula was simple, right? Accumulate knowledge, practice deliberately, and become indispensable. But today, we're seeing this massive shift where relying solely on what you already know is actually becoming a pretty big liability.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover 1. The Competence Paradox, 2. The Gilded Cage, 3. The Illusion of Scarcity, 4. Execution versus Judgment, and finally, 5. The New Competitive Advantage.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Competence Paradox, or when our strengths become obstacles.
So, what exactly is the competence paradox? Well, it's essentially this condition where the very capabilities that enabled your success in a past era actually turn into the obstacles preventing you from adapting in the next one. The crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't really a technological problem at all. It's fundamentally an economic and psychological paradox. Your past success actively works against your future adaptation because you get so incredibly good at the old rules of the game that you subconsciously resist learning the new ones.
Think about it like this. Picture a master shipbuilder right at the dawn of the railway age. His craftsmanship didn't just vanish overnight, right? He was still building these magnificent, flawless ships. His joints were perfect, his sails were impeccable. But the market simply shifted its rewards toward a completely new form of transportation. The hidden trap of specialization is that it assumes the market will always need your specific expertise. When that demand vanishes, being absolutely perfect at that specific skill suddenly doesn't matter anymore.
And that's exactly why, as we stare down this massive AI inflection point, the landscape is shifting under our feet just like it did for that shipbuilder. You kind of have to stop asking yourself how good you are at your current job and start asking yourself this brutal question. Is the market moving toward or away from the expertise I've mastered? It requires total honesty, because if the answer is away, your current competence is literally masking your future obsolescence.
Moving on to Section 2. The Gilded Cage, which is all about the psychological trap of comfort.
Imagine a bird living in a cage made entirely of gold. It's got plenty of food, total comfort, and the constant admiration of everyone walking by. To that bird, leaving seems completely irrational. Why risk the wild when room service is included? But a cage is still a cage, and it limits flight. For highly skilled professionals, this comfortable environment of high salaries and steady promotions creates a golden cage where there is absolutely zero rational immediate reason to leave or change course.
And here's the really sneaky danger of that gilded cage. All those promotions and high wages, they create a super comfortable bubble. And tragically, this comfort gradually drains your curiosity. Here is a reality we all have to face. Curiosity declines way before competence does. You might still be the absolute best at your specific task, but because you've lost that hunger to look outside your golden cage, you aren't going to notice the world changing until your skills are completely obsolete.
Which brings us to Section 3, the illusion of scarcity, or misreading market signals. Take a look at this comparison. Imagine a mechanic who becomes the world's leading expert in repairing steam locomotives right as diesel engines are taken over. For a few years, that steam mechanic might actually see their salary shoot up simply because there are fewer and fewer people left who even know how to fix the old machines. So the market signal flashes high demand, which totally tricks them into thinking their expertise is growing in importance. But the harsh reality? They're just becoming a highly paid antique in the final years of a dying tech.
We tend to assume that because we're in high demand and getting paid well, our future is completely secure. But remember this vital lesson. Scarcity is often the market's signal that an industry is disappearing entirely, not that it has a bright, sustainable future. You really can't let short-term scarcity trick you into long-term stagnation.
Okay, Section 4, execution versus judgment. Let's look at the shift in professional value. Because let's face it, artificial intelligence is incredibly efficient at executing the specific, measurable tasks you see here. Code generation, documentation, testing, analysis, summarizing, routine decision support. These are all areas where the objective is explicit and the output is easily measurable. And because AI can handle these execution-heavy tasks at such massive scale and with incredible speed, the market value of a human simply producing routine answers is just plummeting.
To really put this into perspective, think about the invention of the calculator. It didn't wipe out mathematicians. Instead, it just eliminated the competitive advantage of being really fast at arithmetic. The value of a human shifted upward, from mere calculation to complex mathematical reasoning. The exact same transition is happening right now in the AI era. The premium of knowledge work is shifting away from basic execution and toward high-level judgment. It's moving from simply producing answers to asking much better questions.
The psychology behind resisting this transition is exactly like a marathon runner. You train those same exact muscles every single day, and you develop extraordinary endurance. But if you ask that same elite athlete to compete in gymnastics, all those years of excellence offer surprisingly little advantage. Why? Because the issue isn't a lack of overall capability, it's narrow specificity. Professional expertise follows the exact same principle. If your skills are too narrowly optimized around execution, adapting to a landscape that requires judgment and agility becomes incredibly difficult.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, the new competitive advantage, and how we actually adapt in the AI era.
Let me be super clear about this. Deep expertise is absolutely not obsolete. Just like a tree with deep roots survives a vicious storm way better than one with shallow roots, you absolutely need that solid foundation. But roots alone just aren't enough. Every single spring, that tree has to produce new branches, new leaves, new growth. A tree that only focuses on strengthening its roots and refuses to sprout new leaves, it's eventually going to die.
So the winning formula for the modern professional combines these two things. Your root system is your core expertise, that deep foundational knowledge you've spent years building. The new growth is continuous learning. Organizations today are disproportionately rewarding professionals who possess both. You need that reliable foundation of your past expertise for sure, but you have to pair it with the relentless, curious new growth of continuous learning to actually stay relevant.
Ultimately, the defining capability of the AI era might not even be raw intelligence, it's adaptability. Think of the world's absolute finest sailor. That sailor will still lose the race if the river changes course and they stubbornly refuse to update their map. The professionals who are going to thrive aren't necessarily the ones who know the most today, but the ones who continuously redraw their map as technology completely reshapes the landscape around them.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to really challenge how you view your own career trajectory. Expertise should never be a monument to your past. Are you protecting yesterday's expertise, guarding it in a gilded cage? Or are you using it as the strong foundation to serve as the starting point for tomorrow's learning? Because in the age of AI, the future clearly belongs to those who choose continuous reinvention. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer and keep redrawing your map.